gotta get you the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas tonight.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Welcome back, subscribers, and those new people just stopping by, welcome as well. I hope you might find this information interesting. Just to let you know, all of the sessions that I've had total, this is my 11th session, I believe, out of not only the ones that you have seen with full transparency, but of the other ones that I played without recording. Anyway, on the last session, session 5, I had a losing session finally, which means right now I'm sitting at 1 loss out of 10 or 11 sessions, 10 sessions. But I didn't lose my entire bankroll. As you look down, I left off at 546. So, you know what? I still am working at house money, considering my previous $1,000 win would have been within technically the same trip. So that would have taken, I don't know, we'll say 4 or 5 hours for that to have happened based on $200 average. Generally, I'm around 250 winning every time. But to be conservative, I'll just call it 200. So having said that, I would have still been, so I'm not down money. I'm technically still at house money, and it's not scared money. And I actually want to experience and test this to keep track of how many times I'm going to completely blow out that session bankroll. And that's important for me when doing any testing. And that's, you know, part of the process of being completely confident in a winning strategy. And that's why I tell everybody, hey, look, you know what? Test it. Test it across platforms. Test it, most importantly, in real life on felt. And keep track of it. And do it that way. And anyway, that's kind of how I roll. And once again, that's important to me before I lay a damn penny on any craps table or bubble machine or roulette, whatever. So anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and continue on. And let's fire this baby up. So I left off before and it hadn't 7'd out. And again, this strategy I have of the 4 and 2 is based on the statistical fact that the average shooter only rolls 7 times before a 7 out. Now, are there going to be longer rolls? Yeah. And that's what a lot of players aim for with their pressing and taking, which gets, to me, confusing, because they're hoping to hit that long roll. And when it does happen, it's beautiful to see. But I wanted to come up with something in all of my hours and hours of testing that's going to be more sustainable over the long run. And for the most part, it's my belief that in gambling, it's the turtle that wins the race, you know, because playing the way some other people do, and I respect the way they play fully because it makes them happy, and you know that's how they want to roll. So hey, that's good. But doing things like hedge betting, doing this or that, hot bets, for the most part, unfortunately, kind of runs out of steam for them. And they're not able to rip off the casino as often as I want to figure out how to rip off the casino. And most importantly, share it with everybody else when I can figure out that strategy. Anyway, with that in mind, I'm rambling as usual. It's kind of good to be able to ramble. Whoops. Clear that out. I want to get that 7. Because, again, what do you know? The statistical fact. I know I probably rolled 3 times before that. As a matter of fact, I know I did before I stopped. I was telling that story and lost track. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to fire it up again to establish that point. Again, there's no pass line. There's no don't pass bet. And I've tested that. I've tested doing the hedging. But no bueno. Don't go there. Because your 7s are going to happen in a series, in a string, and you don't want to get that. So if you happen to get that and you're on a don't pass, then you just lost it. And if you're trying to hedge a higher end bet, you know, you're looking at $75 to $100 and possibly more that you're putting at risk. No, I don't. No, I did it and I kind of laughed at myself because I knew better. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and throw my 25s up there for 1 win. or 4 rolls. But, you know, with me, if your gut feeling says something, do it. And it's funny, in that previous series, session 5, I had a gut feeling that something just wasn't right. You know, I was talking and I had that fleeting thought of turn it off, and I didn't do it. So that's on me. I consider myself to be a pretty intuitive person, and I follow that gut feeling. And yeah, it was a fleeting thought that I shouldn't have played it. Because again, with me, if I again, 7s come in a series. So I think that's important for me to continue to consider, is that knowing that 7s can and do come in series, is when I kind of get to that higher level, you know, not to push it too much. So 4 rolls might be a little bit extensive, and just play it out until you notice that the table has shifted. And again, there are hot tables and cold tables. So that's why it's important to acknowledge that and to work it. So when you start to see it start to flip, you know, cash out your ticket. Go. You know, do other things, man. I mean, go play roulette. That's what I do. Or take the time and walk 200, 500. Take some exercise. And I like casino hopping. I freaking dig it. You know, so I'll take small wins and I'll just jam on and take off and do something else. There's so many cool things to see, and with me, I like to people watch, and sometimes there's some hot women running around that I don't mind taking a peek at. If I'm feeling tired, I get out of Dodge, cash out and go. And I wish I'd saved all of my other tickets, or actually took pictures of all the ones that I had won in Vegas for that one video on my update. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. Because it would have been, again, full transparency to show that, you know, I did win that $1,500, and that was so helpful to me, because I just put a roof on the house and paid off a good chunk of change on my car. One more payment and I'm done with that baby. Which will allow for more gambling fun, because I intend to this year take more trips, as I did previous years, but that past year, of course, I didn't, because of you know, the roof and things like that. Life happens, and you got to roll with it. Not to boast, well, I don't want to say it. Anyway, we're up to the 25. And I'm going to rock and roll with this for one win. Bam, baby. Clear that turd out. My green machines. Drop back down to the 5s level. So yeah, again, if you feel like you're at that higher level, you know, you could easily consider once again that pattern table shifted. Cash out that ticket and go. And that's generally how I did it, you know, when I was in Las Vegas, like I think I mentioned. But always consider that. You know, if you're getting that gut feeling, just cash the friggin' ticket out. I think in that one video I did, I can't remember which one, I think it was 3, I only had 175. I think in the process of doing that, knowing me, I was probably talking too freaking much and lost track of where I was. So I very may have played a 5 level when it should have been a 25. Because I show pretty consistent winnings at around 250 for 10 minutes, which would be about $2.50 an hour, but for for fairness, I'll just call it 200 and be happy with it. Another thing to take into consideration is every time you roll the dice, especially at the higher levels, and I think that's where it went wrong, if I recall. I'll have to go back and take a peek at it. But keep taking into consideration when you're counting your rolls, okay? You want to count it from the 7 to 7, based on that statistical fact that the average shooter only rolls 7 rolls. So I think before the point was established, it had rolled already 3 times. So therefore, had I pushed it to 4, I would have exceeded that 7. So always keep that in mind. And it's hard for me sometimes when I'm talking to keep track of the roll of dice and doing this because I can't multitask very well. I think women are better than that with men, and I attest that I'm not good with that. So anyway, with that in mind, I think I'm going to review that, but I think that's what happened. Is there were so many rolls prior to the point being established that's why I went out, based on that statistical fact. So always keep that in mind when you're at the higher tiers. Always, when you start that after the 7, you start counting at that moment. All right? And if you notice that it's been 3 rolls or 2 rolls or 3 rolls in particular, before a point's been established, carry on. Wait for it to 7 out and start over when the point is established on the first roll. That is key. And that's what I think I lost track of doing. I own up to the fact that it was a losing little dealio, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, with that in mind, I'm up now at 7:03. I can't remember where I started, but I'll do the math on that. Anyway, hey, you guys have a good day. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so to keep track of where these testings are going. Again, I really don't care about making money on YouTube. If it happens, cool. If not, then that's cool too. Most importantly, I like sharing the information in hopes it'll help somebody, and maybe I can crack a code. And if I do, I'm not going to sell books. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. I don't play that because I don't need to. Anyway, hey, you guys have a great day and a better tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.